I'm Becca and welcome to my channel. Today I want to show you how to make 10 different styles of quilled leaves that look similar to real life leaves. Gives you good variation for filling in with your flowers and things on your projects. They're made from all basic shapes that I've already done a video on. I'll link that somewhere around here so that you can watch that one if you want to watch that before you do this one. I do show you how to make one of each of the petals going through it, but if you want to get a handle on how to make the different shapes before doing this, then it's a good video to go and watch. And that's about it, so let me show you how. Right, so for all of the leaves, to make the stalks of the leaves, I've just done the same in each of the colours that the leaf is. I've just taken a quilling strip, folded it in half, and then put glue down one side and then stuck them together, so once it's dry you've got quite a stiff piece of paper for you to be able to attach your leaf onto, and then once it's completely dry you can move it to wherever you want and then you can position it in your projects that you're doing. So this part's just exactly the same on all of the leaves I'm showing you, so I'm just going to tell you this one time and let's crack on. So the red maple is the first one that we're going to do, and it's got 5 parts to it. Now the first of these shapes is one full quilling strip. In fact, let me do this, it's easier for you to see than down there. Right, so there's 3 different sizes. This size is 1 full strip, this size is half a strip, and then this is 1/4 of a strip, which is the one that I'm going to show you now. So it's basically an eye or a marquise, whichever you want to call it. And just keep hold of your quilling strip as you're turning, just keep it in line. Then you've got to the end and then just push it off with your finger or your nail, and then you're just releasing the coil without dropping it. So you get a more open coil there now. Then just put a little bit of glue on the end of the strip and just hold it until it tacks it in place. There we go. And then try and get the end of the strip at the one point, so you're just going to nip at one side and then nip at the other one. And there you get your little marquise shape. So you need 2 of the really small ones, 2 of the medium, and then 1 of the large ones. And then you just need your stalk that you're going to do. So what I like to do with the stalk, I like to attach it to the big part of the under leaf first. Just so you can put it a bit further up, and then it's got that stability with being in with a larger piece and trying to attach it straight onto the little ones. So, and then we need to put the medium sized ones. It's a bit like Goldilocks and 3 Bears, medium and large. And then we're going to put these so that they join the bottom of the larger one down here, and then again at the same at the other side. Make sure you've got it where you want it to go and the meat at the bottom. Now the 2 smaller ones, instead of facing upwards like these 3 do, they face straight out. So just make sure that you've got your top 3 together. I'm trying to get it so you can see it better. So where they're all to one point. Right, so once you've got all these pointed together and in place, then the 2 smaller ones are going to be facing straight out from the sides, so not going up like the other ones are that way. So they're only going to be joining this real bottom section, if you can see there. So it's a really tiny point. So you can put glue on this way, or you can put the glue on top and let it soak down into the shape. It's up to you. When I'm making loads of these, I tend to put them in place and then put the glue on top and let them dry, but because I'm filming, I need to do it a bit quicker. Now the smaller ones might be a bit fiddly for you to put on, so when it comes to these ones I'll use my tweezers sometimes. There we go. You can make these two with the half strip ones like we have done there, depending on how big of a leaf you want it to be. But I'm trying to make them, you know, so the fairly new leaves that are going to be coming out. And that's our red maple. Right, the next leaf is a chestnut leaf. It's very similar to a red maple. You've just got two extra of the eye shapes that I've just shown you in the previous leaf. So you have your one at the top, and then you've got 2 rows of, I think I used half strips for all of these ones. Again, you can use a full strip for the top one, like we did on the previous one, and then use half strips and smaller ones. But then I've just got a 1/4 strip here to do the small one like we did before. So again, it's just exactly the same. You're just using the same shape in a different formation to make a different leaf. So push it off, there it go. Glue on the end when it wants to come out. Pinch at one side, pinch at the other, and then you've got your marquise or your eye, whichever you want to call it. And again, got the stalk as I mentioned before, exactly the same way for all of them. Right to the one that's going to be at the top. Oh wait, that way, see if you can see a little bit better. And then on stick. There we go. So again, we're going to have 2 that form at the top. And those ones need to be pointed at an angle, like we did on the red maple. And then you've got another row of this size, but these are pointed out like on the red maple, they're going straight outwards, they're not going up. So up until this point it's exactly the same as the red maple, it's just got different sized shapes. And then the teeny tiny ones, those are going to be face down. Not quite stuck enough yet. Make sure you've got them in the right place before it's stuck completely. You can always straighten out your stem afterwards. So that's something I can't pick it up quite yet. So that's the chestnut leaf. Right, the next leaf that we're going to do is an oak leaf. and you need 7 teardrop shapes. So I'm taking a half a strip. If you want it to be a smaller leaf, just use quarter a strip, but I'm wanting a large one so you can see it better on the video. Just wind your coil. Take it off, let it uncurl. Now depending on how big you want your shapes as to how much you let it unwind. If it does that, or you can always just wind it back up. There you go. Go on the end. And then to make the teardrop, just pinch on one side. And you've got your teardrop. So then you want one at the top. Again, I'm going to attach the stem to this one. Go down a bit. There we go. So I'll just attach that to the top one that you're going to use. Now okay, it's the case of the same with the maple and the chestnut leaf. You start out them facing upwards, sort of going in the same direction as the top one. And the next ones are going to go straight underneath these. And then 2 just coming down underneath that. Those last 2 that we've just put on. Again, if you want them smaller, just use a shorter length of strip. You'll probably get it done quicker when you're doing them, because whenever I'm doing on the camera my hands decide to not play ball. But you just need to try and make sure that the curved part of the teardrop is more on the outside and not facing inwards, because that's what makes the bumpy shape to make it look like a oak leaf. Don't want to stick these ones. If you are making quite a few of these, if you have some wax paper or a silicone mat, something like that, you can put them on there and let them dry by just putting the glue on top like I've just done, and then once they're dry you can easily peel them off. So that's the, get it round, doesn't want to go in today. There we go. Right, so the next leaf I'm going to show you is a 3 and a 4 leaf clover. It's basically the same shapes, just with an added extra petal onto it, or part, whichever you want to call it for a leaf. So again, get your stalks made up, and then we're going to make a curved dart shape. So again, if you look on the previous video on how to do a dart shape, I'll show you how to do the rounded one now. So I'm just taking one full strip, and take it off, and then release it to however big you're wanting it to be. Again, on the end. Okay, so where the shape is stuck to at the end, so to press that one, but not completely. You don't want to make it point, you know, like the proper dart shape. Just try and get it sort of as around a angle, and then what you do is with the opposite side where you've got the top, if you push inwards it'll make that heart shape, and then if you just push it while you've got your nail in or whatever you're using, you can use your quilling tool if you want, so you're making that dart shape but not as pointed, so it's more like a heart. So you'll need 7 of those to make one each of the 3 and 4 leaf clovers. So I'll do the 3 first. So again, just putting some glue on the side, and then you're putting together the rounded part, you know, which is sort of like the bottom of the dart shape that we've just done. Then got your 3. Then with this one you can put the stalk in the middle, just like that, and then push the 2 bottom ones in, and that's the 3 leaf clover. Let's push this to the side and then show you the 4. Now it's basically the same, but you're just adding that extra part to it. Glue on the sides. Now because this one's got the 4 and you can't push it in straight at the bottom like we have on the previous one, you need to put your stalk in now, and then you push your final shape in once this is in. And then you put in glue on the stalk and the petals, I suppose you want, if you want to call it that. And then that's your 3 and 4 leaf clover. Right, so the next leaf that we're going to do is a fern leaf. So it's using the same shape as what we use for the red maple and the chestnut, but I'm using all half strips for these ones, so they're all the same size. Now if you're wanting to do a really big fern, you can make lots of these and then put them together, because if you look at a real fern, they've got like sort of branches coming off the main one in the middle. This is just a simplified version for doing the process, but if you're wanting to do the larger fern, you'd make several of these and then attach them all together to one big stalk, but it depends on what project you're doing. So again, just let it unravel. See the end. And then pinch either side, and then what we're going to do is we're going to have one at the very top, so it's easier if you put a couple of the other ones in first before you attach the stem, because it will hold the stem in place once you've got the other ones in. Again, just put them at the angle that you want. And just lower the attaching the other ones, just put a blob there just so that it can be reinforcing that attachment on those ones. And then it's basically just a case of adding these all the way down on either side. So again, depending on how big you want to make it, it's how many you use. I've got 5, I've got 9 on this one. You can do different lengths for these because obviously the bottom of the fern is wider. So if you want to do the bottom ones longer, you can do, or just do them all the same. And if you are doing the putting the glue on the top and just let them dry, don't worry, it dries clear. It's PVA, or if you're using Collal all-purpose glue, that's another good one. So that'll give you added strength. And then where the shapes are meeting the stalk, just keep putting a little bit of glue on the top there, and it'll just make sure that it's adhered to the stem as well as the petals. Because it's liquid glue, you've got a bit of wiggle time to just get it in the position that you want. And that's our fern. So the next leaf that we're doing is a sycamore leaf. It's a really simple one, you just need 2 bended teardrops, and I'm using half strip for either one, and obviously a stem as well. So make your tight coil like before. Take it off and let it uncurl. Now it's quite a large bended teardrop that you're needing, so if you let it unravel quite a bit, because if you look at the sycamore leaves, I always used to call them helicopter leaves when I was little, because if you throw them up in the air they come spiralling down like an helicopter. So, and then if you want to just hold your middle of the coil to the side and then pinch as you're doing a teardrop, but then you're bending just the end. Jump it so you can see better. So then the majority of your coil is in the circular part, and then it sort of bends down into the curved part of it. And then this one, you just want one facing either way. Let's get the stalk. And the other one facing the other way. That's our six. Alright, the next leaf that we're doing is a holly leaf, and we're going to be making 5 dart shapes. So this is a half strip. So similar to the clover, it's the same sort of process as to making the shape, but you make them pointed rather than just leaving them rounded and defining that point. So wind your coil up. Off and curl. sure it's stuck. And this time when you're pinching it, pinch it fully like you do on a full teardrop. And again, things are getting sticky now, we'll stick into it. And then you're pushing in like you did on the clover, but you can pinch it all the way together, and then you get those defined points that you need for making a holly. So same process again. I like to attach the stem to a top piece. If you've got any stalk sticking up at the top, you can always snip it off when your leaves fully dry. Right, so then what we're going to do now is same as what we've done on the other ones where we're having them faced up to the same angle as the holly. So you want one pointing downwards, but the side going onto the back end of the top one. Now it don't matter if they're symmetrical, these darts, at all, because holly, as you'll know, is spiky and it goes off in different angles. And then same again, but these two are going to be facing more downwards. If you want it to have more spikes, just keep adding more of the shapes at different angles and get the points to meet up so it creates that spiky holly effect. See if I can lift it. Oh, here we can. So it's like the clover, but it's pointed. I'm trying to get it so you can see the light a bit better. I'll show you on the card at the end anyway. But right, this is the most simplest leaf that I've got to show you today, and it's a willow leaf, and it's basically an elongated teardrop shape. So I'm using a full strip. Now you're wanting to let it uncurl, not too much. You need to be able to have some room for you to be able to manipulate the coil. As you know, if you look at willow leaves, they are really long, and there's thousands on a branch. So if you want to do a stack of these and then stick them to a brown stem, if you're wanting to make a bunch of them, you can do it that way and just put them together like we have done the other petals. So right, we've got our open coil, and I want to just gently grab the coil in the middle and just pull it more to one side, but as you're doing it, pinch one end so you're getting that elongated teardrop, but keep pressing and make it narrow, and it'll just hold it in place. Once you've get it a few squeezes and it realises you want it to stay there. You can always put a little bit of glue on top for it to hold it in position, but that's our right. So the last leaf I'm going to show you today is a palm leaf. Now if you look at a palm leaf on a tree, it's quite rounded and it sort of stems from the middle and comes in a circular outwards, and it's got the spaces in between each of the sections. So I've just got, how many have I got here? I've got 4, yeah, there's 10 altogether that I'm using on this one, and I'm using half strips. We're just making marquise or eye shapes again. Don't matter if they're different sizes, these ones, because you can rearrange them when you on your leaf for them to be able to wide apart if they're slightly bigger than the other one. Now this is probably the only one that I'm not putting the stem in at the beginning, because there's so many of these little shapes. I like to get them into the sort of circular shape that they're going to be on, and then attach the stem afterwards. So all it is now is a case of putting them in a circular formation. This one I'll use my tweezers. Because there's quite a lot of them, it can be a little bit fiddly, but just take your time and get them positioned where you want them to go. Now this might be one for you to do putting the blob of glue on the top, and just space them out if you feel more comfortable with that. Because once you've got them all into the circle, you can push them in, so you'll get that more tighter effect. Sure, I thought I could come with it. Probably the most fiddly out of the ones I've showed you, simply because it's got more pieces to it. Right, so now we've just got the one left. Just push them inwards. This is when it's probably a good idea to use your corkboard if you've got one, but mine's got some other project on that I'm doing, so I couldn't use it today. So they're coming further and further in. Once the glue starts drying, you'll have that sort of attachment that you can manipulate it more into the formation that you want it to. It's up till then the glue's not tacky, so it can be a little bit awkward, but there we go. Keep fiddling with it while it's drying. I'll show you the end thing on the card that I did them on, and then just pop that in between a couple of them. And put that added glue on top just to make sure that it stays in place. Okay, so there's no actual proper direction that each part of these ones need to be at, you know, like the maple and the chestnut and all of those ones. It is more of a just rounded leaf, but I will keep fiddling with this until I've got it exactly how I want it to go, because this is the shape formation that you're actually looking for. It took a little longer with this one to just keep getting them into the position that I wanted them in. So that's all 10 of the leaves that I want to show you. Let's zoom out a bit close now. So we've got red maple, chestnut, oak, 3 and 4 leaf clover, fern, sycamore, holly, willow and palm. So just a few for you to try and put into your projects. So thanks for watching. If you like this tutorial, give it a thumbs up, that would be greatly appreciated, and subscribe if you're not already subscribed, and I'll see you next time.